Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential on Revelator Alf. So we're in the middle of the international break right now, and yes, so no domestic football. We've just come off a deflating defeat against Brighton, but it's probably a timely reminder to all of us that we're not going to win every game and we're not going to draw every game. You know, when we think, we're on a bit of a roll. Yes, so, we beat Man United and Everton, the good result against Chelsea, the really emphatic win, against Macclesfield, and we were all on a bit of a high. And the problem is that we went into the game and we were complacent. Brighton outplayed us in the first half, and we were just, we weren't firing all cylinders. We were fluffing our lines in front of goal, and that's why we lost the game. As simple as that. Pellegrini needs to look at his tactics, from game to game. That's what he needs to do. He needs to look at Yarmolenko and Anderson, getting more width out of them, as opposed to always cutting inside. They very rarely, Anderson possibly more tries to go down the wing a little bit, but more often than not he does cut inside. Yarmolenko pretty much every time. So he's going to be found out really quickly. So we're going to look at the midfield trio. Yeah, I think they're still doing well, but Obiang was not up to par, in the last game. Noble, I think, you've got to look at, can we expect him to perform at a high level every single game? I don't think we can. So we need a substitute in there for Noble, which would be Wilshere, but obviously he's injured. Sanchez, unfortunately, is injured for the rest of the season now, so we're lacking that strength in depth now in that position. Obiang again, we need somebody to say, okay, if he's not playing well, who are we going to put in there? Rice again was a top player for us against Brighton, and he's playing with real confidence. He's tackling, he's putting his foot in, he's receiving the ball well, distributing well. So lots of positives from him. But Diop and Balbuena, I still like the partnership, but obviously there's still some errors there. And then we've got to look at Zabaleta and Masuaku. Are we always going to play those players? Or actually, should we give Zabaleta a rest every now and again, of course, and actually introduce Fredericks? I think Fredericks might have been a better fit for the Brighton game. Masuaku, if he's going to go forward, he's leaving big gaping holes in the back. So either Anderson's got to drop in, or he's not got to go forward as well. He's got to... concentrate on his defensive responsibilities, and he was complicit in the goal that they scored against us. He just let the runner free, and he was sort of strolling back. So that's why you really got to watch how he's playing. Look, the thing is, there are positives from the game that we were creating chances. We were much the better team in the second half. We just fluffed the lines really, and that's all that can be said. So Pellegrini's got to look at these players, the starting 11. He's got to look at his game-to-game tactics, and we've got to see, which squad players can actually step up to the mark and actually start playing for us, and playing for us well, because Antonio and Perez are not doing it right now, and we need, better squad players to come through and actually produce, whenever they come on the pitch. Snodgrass for me is still doing really well. You could have argued that he should have taken, the dead ball, the free kick instead of Arnautovic. And Arnautovic, it was too congested in there. So although he missed a few goal scoring opportunities, it was really tight for him as well. I think they need to look at their passing game a little bit more in the final third. I think it's almost like as soon as they, one of them gets the opportunity, they're missing the passing opportunity as well. And maybe just trying to go for it themselves. I suppose we want our forwards to be selfish, but we also need to look at, other better opportunities as well. Overall, our passing is a lot better, and our forward passing is a lot better, certainly than it was last season. So under Pellegrini, lots of things are improving. That's for sure. They are improving. But we can't be complacent. We've got to look at who our opposition is, how they're likely to play against us, and what can we do as a team and as a squad to counteract that. Whether we go on full attack, whether we are more defensive, whether we park the bus, that kind of thing. So lots of things for us to work on. Now the international break is here, of course. Last international break a few weeks ago. Actually, a lot of our players went off, Yarmolenko, Arnautovic, so on and so forth. They went off for international duty and they did rather well, and it came back and we had a little good run after then. I'm hoping exactly the same thing. They go off, then they'll come back and we'll go back on a little run. You know, we've got Spurs in the league, we've got Leicester, then we've got Spurs again in the Carabao Cup. So, you know, it's lots of stuff going on. So, but our squad players got to do better. Antonio, as I say, Perez, they haven't shown it for me. I'm wondering, you know, what's the even point of having Antonio anymore? And, you know, Perez, he needs to do a lot better and produce. The quality has to be there. We're obviously still missing Hernandez as, you know, somebody to play along Hernandez or to come on instead. Totally different players, I know, but we need that quality in front of goal. He hasn't produced. He hasn't had the opportunity to produce. I'm hoping he'll come back, you know, by the end of international break. But you know, we are missing that quality reserve player instead of Arnautovic. Carroll, you know, reports coming out yesterday and today that actually that he might be back for at the end of the month for the Carabao Cup tie against Spurs. Will that actually happen or not, we don't know. But, you know, he'll probably come back for a couple of weeks, get injured and score a goal and then, you know, be off for another 3 months. That's the problem with Carroll. We all know that. But, you know, there are times when you think, actually, this has been a perfect moment for Carroll. If we could expose the wings, you know, with Arnautovic, with Yarmolenko and with Anderson on the wings and get some decent crosses in, that will be perfect for Carroll. That Carroll game. What isn't perfect for Carroll is that you pump the ball up to him, he holds it up and tries to feed off other players because he's out of the danger area. What he needs to be is in the penalty area, 6-yard box, or, you know, within the penalty spot area, float a ball in and he's gonna, you know, go in with a header. That's it. That's his game. You know, forget about playing it to feet. For him, you know, it's like old school, you know, football. You know, he'll be a good substitute if we can get him to play and if we crucially get those crosses. And it's about using the players and exploiting their best talents. Exactly the same as Hernandez last season. We just didn't play to his strengths. That's why he didn't have a very good season. And not everybody was thinking he was crap. It wasn't he was crap. It's just that we're not playing to his strengths. And Arnautovic has kind of taken the ball, you know, the ball by the horns, and he's created his own opportunities. And that's why we like him so much, because he's the one who drives the team. But it's not always going to work. We can't always rely on Arnautovic to, you know, give us that, you know, those results that we need. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have good days. I still think we're good for a top 8 position. Well, you know, 8th or 7th or 8th. But it's just consistency. We've got to be more consistent. We can't be complacent. Pellegrini's got to look at the opponents that we're playing and how he's going to set up and which players are going to start in any given game. Anyway, you know, let's hope the squad players can up their game. Let's hope that whoever's going to come back from injury, you know, will be fit and able and can give us, you know, options, you know, going forward and also defensively as well. Possibly our most consistent player right now, guess what? It's Fabianski. Yep, he's still doing wonders at the back. And maybe the rest of the players need to look at him and say, right, okay, when he's performing, we all need to perform on a consistent basis. Not all doom and gloom for me this week, I think, because there were positives from the game. There were opportunities to score. We just didn't score. Another day, we could have got 4 or 5. Right, anyway, so this has been the West Ham Confidential this week on Revelator Al. Please subscribe, tell your friends, and catch you next time. Cheers.